following us for a while, you've been reading books. We've written lots of them, stuffed them full of processes, lots of them. And today we're going to offer to you a process that we want you to know trumps all of them. Doesn't render them ineffective. It's just the process of all processes, because it's the process that will accomplish the most for you. It will get the most done for you. It will put you in the strongest place of positive attraction, and it's the easiest thing to do. Sort of like a magic pill, it seems. But it will take your deliberate attention and your readiness to find resonance with who you are. Have we convinced you so far that you create your own reality? Have we convinced you so far that you live in a vibrational universe? Have we convinced you so far that your vibration matters? And have we convinced you that the better you feel, the higher flying you are, that the better your point of attraction is in terms of the more you will like what begins to manifest? So here's the process. When you wake up in the morning, that's your best opportunity to stay on the high flying disc, because you were on it when you woke up. Just like you were on the high flying disc when you were born, before you were oriented toward trouble. You're on that high flying disc when you wake up. And here's the reason. We're just going to give it to you in a very bold statement. While you slumber, your momentum of thought ceases. Now that doesn't mean that you can't wake up in the morning and pick up right where you left off. But if you don't do that, you have a better opportunity to find that high frequency. So we encouraged Esther to do it. It's been a few months now. We encouraged her, when you wake up, find a thought that feels good. And at first, just the pressure of finding a thought that felt good kept her from finding one. The first day, she didn't even make it until breakfast before she was soaring down some trajectory that she didn't mean to soar down. But we convinced her, and she was committed, that every day she would wake up and reach for the best feeling thought that she could. And she discovered that the more general the thoughts were, the easier they were to feel good. In other words, if you wake up and start pondering a problem, you're off your high-flying disc before you even realize that you're on it. But if you wake up and stay as general as you can, finding something that's very easy to appreciate, you sort of kind of have to ask your family or set your alarm a little early so that you have a little bit of private time before the world descends on you. Because the world is going to descend on you pretty much like it has been descending on you. And there is a momentum or a trajectory that's already been going. So we understand why it's a little difficult to begin changing your vibration in the middle of a stream, because there's a current already going. We really understand that. But we want you to know that first thing in the morning is your best opportunity to do it. Or after a nap, or after meditation. When you meditate, you stop your mind, you stop your thoughts, and when thoughts are stopped, then there's no resistance. And in that absence of resistance, we've been telling you for a while, it's like the cork bobbing on the surface of the water. You can hold it under the water. That's what negative emotion is. But when you let go of it, it's going to bob right back up there. And you are too. When you wake up, you're bobbing for a minute. You are. So if you can just wake up and hold that frequency by finding things as general as you can, it is our promise to you that momentum will begin to help you. You'll begin to feel the momentum until one thought will lead to another and another and another. But as we watched you for a while, we noticed that the idea of deliberate creation was making you approach your life, as you so often do in your action orientation, of trying too hard, of getting hold of a problem and trying to wrestle it to the ground and kill it. And in doing so, in the defining of the problem, or in the awareness of the problem, or in the trying to overcome the problem, in the looking for the solution by getting rid of the problem, without even meaning to, you were activating the problem all the more. So the harder you tried, the worse it got. The more you wanted to solve the problem, but the more you activated the problem itself, and the greater the struggle seemed. Which fit right in with the way most of you were thinking even before you were in contact with us. Because most humans, somewhere along their path, have been encouraged to believe that you're here to prove something to someone who is very picky about what you do. Also, somebody who changes their mind really, really often about what's right and wrong. And so you become a mass consciousness that's scrambling around trying to please or prove to something that you can't really define, that you can't really get your thoughts around. So we want to help you to understand that you are source energy. You're in these magnificent physical bodies. You came from non-physical. And while you were non-physical before you came into these physical bodies, you still are, for the most part, predominantly, that non-physical consciousness. You just are. But that's hard for you to know because you have come into this personality, and the awareness of what's going on here, what you're observing, is so dominant, so pressing. It's so real, you call it reality. Well, this is the real world. So the non-physical world from which you have come, and this non-physical world where the larger part of you still is focused and still is projecting from, is largely gone unnoticed to most of you. Except that you feel emotions all day, every day. You do, don't you? And those emotions are something that is vivid within you because the emotion that you feel is your vibrational indicator of how you're doing in relationship with who you really are. This non-physical part of you has a perspective. You could say an opinion. You could say an expectation. This non-physical part of you, this God force within you, has very clear understanding. So when you are thinking something and you've got a little momentum going on the thought, you can feel the resonance with source regarding that thought, or the dissonance. We've been calling that the allowing of you being who you are, or the disallowing. We've been calling it allowing, resistance, good feeling, bad feeling, resonance, dissonance, alignment, not alignment. So as you begin to realize that you've got this guidance within you that doesn't just sometimes come along and let you know that you're on or off the track, it's always in every moment available to you if you're paying attention. Now, when you first begin this conversation is not all that satisfying because we're encouraging you to a concept, to a time of day, to a deliberate focus, and to a result that we promise you will get. But the result will not be manifestational evidence for you for a while. So you're going to be applying this for the singular manifestational evidence of some good feeling emotion. In other words, you're going to be looking for the manifestation of relief. You're going to be looking for the manifestation of joy. So what we want you to understand is that at first you won't know for sure, but if you will continue and continue and continue, eventually, we're talking about a few days, there will be enough momentum that there will be changes in the way the world is treating you. People who have been one personality will be different when they're with you, or they won't be with you at all. People that you're not used to rendezvousing with will begin rendezvousing with you. Everything in your life experience will change when your point of attraction changes. So that once you get 30 days of this under your belt, you will know for sure that's when we would love to have a conversation with you. That's when we really want to hear, not the subtle, but the vast differences in the way the world is treating you, the way the world is responding to you, the way your point of attraction has shifted. So we're going to give you a little precursor here, and then we're going to open to any conversation that you want. The first thing that happens once you begin to sustain this alignment on this high-flying disc, the first thing that happens is emotions manifest that feel good. That's really the first thing that you're going to be aware of. And we so like calling those emotions manifestations because they so are. The next thing that you're going to notice is thoughts will begin occurring to you. Ideas will begin flowing into your mind. You'll feel clarity instead of confusion. You'll feel sureness instead of sort of awkwardness. You'll begin to notice that you just feel better in the moment. The world will look better to you. And the reason for that, we're just going to tell you, you're going to have to practice it to know it, to feel it, to really know it. But we'll give you the words about it. The reason that you feel clear, the reason things look better is because you've achieved vibrational alignment with the source within you, and you're seeing the world through the eyes of source. You are now a blended being having this experience. You see what we're getting at? So people who are usually complaining won't show up so much in your life experience. And when they do, you won't feel inclined to help them beat the drum of what's going wrong. You're going to find and like your alignment. Esther said, I'm becoming a sort of vibrational snob. And she doesn't mean that she doesn't adore everyone. She just means that she likes so much feeling good that she really prefers to hold herself in a place that feels good. Now, at first, when she slipped off this high-flying disc, the next thing she was angry at herself because she felt like she had jeopardized her alignment. And she said to us one day, Abraham, I refuse to accept that I have to wait all the way until tomorrow morning to get on my high-flying disc. You've given us enough processes that surely there's something that I can do. But she also discovered that it's really easier to wake up there and stay there than it is to climb back up there after you've fallen off. So we just want you to be easy on yourself. If you're having a bad day and someone says, what's wrong with you? Just say, I fell off the disc, okay? Okay? I fell off. And then don't continue the momentum. And you were there when it happened. I blame you. I was there till you came. Because that's not how it ever works, is it? We want you to teach yourself about the momentum of thought. Because thought is a very powerful thing. And thought that is in alignment with the source within you is more powerful than we have a reasonable way of explaining to you. When you find resonance with unwanted things, you pinch yourself off from your source. You disallow the goodness that is your true trajectory, and that's why it feels so rotten while it's happening to you. But compared to resonance with source, dissonance with source is not that powerful. When you find a way to hook up with this energy of source, and you practice yourself into a chronic experience of that, you will begin witnessing universal forces and what humans call coincidences and luck and chance. You'll then begin to discover that things are really working out for you. There's a leverage in alignment that just is not available to you in any other way. So as we began describing this point of attraction, this grid, reminding you that your emotions are your indicator of really where your grid is. So if you recall the conversations that we've had about the emotional scale, where there is despair or powerlessness, and there is revenge, and there is frustration, and there's hopefulness, and then there's love and eagerness and all of those things that feel so good, appreciation. So this emotional scale, we want you to now superimpose over this emotional scale of not feeling good to feeling really good, these spinning discs, your point of attraction. So Esther began thinking to herself, what disc am I on? She'd say to someone, I'm on the Henri disc, so you might want to stay away. But the truth of it is, no one can stay away because law of attraction is so powerful, especially if there's momentum going. So what really happened is, even though Esther said, stay away, I'm Henri, really what happened, other Henri people joined her on her disc. And then when they would get there, she would say, you're really Henri, I really don't like you being here. And they would say to her, well, you're Henri too, I really don't like you being here. But here we are, Henri together, just like law of attraction says that we must be. So if you really want to know what disc you're on, just look around. If there are Henri people around you, that's your disc. Because they're not getting on otherwise, you see. They cannot defy law of attraction and jump on, oh yeah, I was on a high-flying disc, I was doing so good, I was just soaring, and then you showed up. No, that's not really what happened. No. I was worried about you showing up. I remembered the last time you showed up. I was tensing against you showing up. I was remembering how much I didn't want you to show up. I was shouting, no, don't show up. And then you showed up. That's really how it happened. In other words, law of attraction is a very powerful thing, you see. And so Esther started having fun with these discs. She said, Abraham, it's like the 7 dwarves. There's the happy disc, the grumpy disc, the passive-aggressive disc. She's up to about 200 dwarfs now, as she's finding all kinds of places in this range of emotions. So we want to call your attention to your point of attraction. That's really what we want to talk about. Because if you will take it upon yourself as your conscious responsibility to choose the disc that you're on, and then stay there deliberately by thinking about things that make it easier and easier for you to stay there, then you're going to start